Oh, Namah Shivaya. Everybody, welcome to this first satsang about Trikamukya Matani, one of the books I wrote in the past, whose translation is Main Tenets of Trikashaivism. Tenets are principles, yes, or basic principles of the Trikashaivism. What is Trikashaivism? Trikashaivism is a philosophical viewpoint that was born in Kashmir. More complex story, but okay, you can understand like this. Kashmir in the north of India, Kashmir between Tibet and India. And this viewpoint is completely revolutionary. And so through the study of this book, Trikamukya Matani will study the basic teachings of this philosophical system. Because why I wrote this book? Because I realized over the years that even some teachers, they are teaching Trikashaivism but mixed with Vedanta. They don't understand completely what Trikashaivism is all about. They mix the teaching with Vedanta because Advaita Vedanta, non-dualistic Vedanta, another philosophical system very popular in the West, is apparently very similar to Trikashaivism. But no, it's not very similar. It's very different. So all the time they learn and they teach Vedantic Trika, something like this, a mixture. Yes. So in order to clarify all the basic points about Trikashaivism, I decided to write a book, Trikamukya Matani. And now I decided to explain this book to people. So we'll read the book and I will explain to you every portion of the book. Because there are some confusion. And if you make a mistake about Trikashaivism, only one mistake about the right viewpoint, you don't understand Trikashaivism. It's useless. So, for example, if you think that in Trikashaivism, Shiva, yes, God, we call Shiva, and we call God Shiva in Trikashaivism. Shiva has many names. Yes, Shiva is one of them. Shiva, the auspicious one, the one in whom all this universe rests. So, from the root Shi, to rest. So I'm hearing my voice in someone microphone. So from you think that this Shiva is in some distant frontier, far from you, or this Shiva is different from you, etc., etc., you don't understand Trikashaivism. You are making a mistake. So we need to be clear about the main tenets of Trikashaivism in order not to make serious mistakes for the future, because I noted that many, even scholars of Trikashaivism, they still cannot understand that they are Shiva. It's like a joke, yes. They are Shiva. My guru sometime was speaking with a scholar in the past, Swami Muktananda, and this scholar was, the common argument, yes, why, if God created this world, why so much suffering in this world? This common argument. Why, if God does? So Muktananda grabbed him from the garment, yes, and told him, you are God. So come on, boy. You understand? You are God. This little misunderstanding transform all your studies of Trikashaivism into something useless. You don't understand this. You are Shiva. You created the universe. You create the universe all the time. You are the Lord. It's very simple, but most people, because of this dualism, yes, pervading everywhere in this world, they don't realize that this is one of the basic teachings of Trikashaivism. Okay, I wrote an introduction in the book, introduction to summarize the teachings. So I wrote, the present book deals with the basic teachings of glorious Trikashaivism. It's a small book acting like a good introduction for all people who wish divine knowledge and liberation. I wrote it in verse. I wrote it in because I have all these basic points in a page on the website. This book is not available on the website, yes. It's only for sale in Amazon or other bookstores. In the future, maybe I will move my books to the website little by little in the future. If the editor is not protesting, yes, or something, because maybe they will protest with it. So I need to be careful. So at first I wrote these basic teachings in some page about Trikashaivism. Next, when I was reading those basic points of Trikashaivism, I realized that maybe I can write a poem about this, a poetry about this. And in Sanskrit meter, I'm crazy, yes, obviously. And to expand the teachings and to create a good summary of the teachings in 40 stanzas. 40, yes, I don't need to write million stanzas, yes, about this. No, 40 is enough. Condensing the teachings. When the scripture is very long, it start to drag, yes, start to drag. You know what it start to drag? It start to be, oh, yes, to drag, heavy. So in order not to destroy the intellects of people with heavy teachings, I condensed all this teaching into 40 aphorisms. The first 12 aphorisms or stanzas, aphorism in stanza, in the way of stanzas, are introduction, like a poetry introduction. And the other 28 are the scripture itself. Okay, I wrote it in verse, in non-strict Arya and Arya-Giti meters. There are two kinds of meters in Sanskrit poetry. One kind of meter is regulated by syllables, by number of syllables. For example, Anushtup. Anushtup is the main meter in Sanskrit literature. For example, you can find Anushtup in Bhagavad Gita, in Guru Gita. Yes, it's very usual. In Tantraloka, this famous scripture of Vajavinavagupta, the greatest Trikashaivism master. It's very simple. And I wrote some scriptures too in Anushtup. But next you have, there are many kinds of meter like this. Anushtup, for example, is 8 syllables per quarter. So there are 4 quarters with 8 syllables per quarter. Oh my God, what is it? Great people. So other are with 10 syllables, 12 syllables, 23 syllables per quarter. So big meters like this with syllables. But there is another kind of meter regulated by matras and not by syllables. Matras is the time you delay to pronounce a short vowel. For example, this is 1 matra. 2 matras. You understand? 3 matras. This is pluta a. So this kind of meter is regulated not by the number of syllables, but the number of matras in a quarter. So it's different kinds. So I adopted Arya and Arya-Giti meter, which are regulated by matras and not by syllables. It's a little technical talk, but for you to be happy. Anyway, for the sake of more flexibility, I'm not meeting the extra requirements. So it's non-strict. Arya and Arya-Giti. Yes, for a scholar not to tell me, hey, it's not Arya and Arya-Giti. No, it's non-strict and not following all the requirements. For example, I don't follow this requirement, that the odd number matragarnas cannot include jagarna. That is the combination 1, 2, 1 matras. It's very complicated. So I'm not including, this is for scholars I'm speaking. For a scholar reading the book, yes, I'm not including this requirement. That's why you put my meter in a Sanskrit meter, how is? Detector online, maybe the detector will tell you it's not Arya, it's not Arya-Giti, or will tell you it's non-strict Arya, non-strict Arya-Giti, if it's good detector of meters. Okay. Sanskrit prosody is very complex, I wrote, and the area of scholars. With knowing this is more than enough for the average reader. One of the tacit tenets of Trikashaivism is that being tantric, Trikashaivism is not Vedic. So Vedas, the 4 books, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, and Atharva Veda are not included in the Trikashaivism literature. So they are not considered to be authoritative by Trikashaivism. We are tantric in Trikashaivism. Our literature is containing the 64 Bhairava Tantras or non-dualistic Tantras coming from Shiva himself. We don't believe in Vedas. This is very important for you to understand. Traditional philosophies like Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Patanjala Yoga, Patanjali's Yoga, Purva Mimamsa, and Uttara Mimamsa, also known as Vedanta, all of them are Vedic. That is, they contain the 4 Vedas in their literature. We are tantric. Trikashaivism, because it's tantric, is not requiring people to abandon family. In Vedas, all the time they say, not in Vedas, in Vedanta more than in Vedanta, or in Sankhya, they stimulate renunciation, yes, to renounce family, objects, all this. In Vedas, they say that there are 4 stages in life. The first stage, you are celibate until 25 years old. Next, between 25 and 50 years old, you have to be married. Next, after this, you have to do austerities in the between 50 and 75. You have to do austerities, penance in the forest with your wife. And next, after 75, you have to leave your wife completely. And until 100, yes, you are 25 more years. This is the last goal. But in Trikashaivism, we are tantric, so we are not following these Vedic statements by these Vedic teachings. No. So you don't have to abandon family, job. It depends on the job. Yes, if the job is so pestering like the job of Dora, yes, you have to abandon job. But I'm joking. Job, house, you don't have to abandon your city, etc., in order to get liberation. No. Right there where you are, you can get liberation. Wherever you are. This is Trikashaivism. This is very important. Liberation from bondage happens everywhere. You don't need a special to be in India, for example, or only in India. No. Everywhere, because Shiva is everywhere. Liberation cannot be attained everywhere, so Shiva is not everywhere. You can even attain liberation in the middle of war. You can attain liberation everywhere. You don't need to be only in a peaceful country to get liberation, or in a spiritual country. You can get liberation everywhere in all this planet. Okay. But what is bondage after all? When I'm speaking about bondage, I'm not speaking about bondage from the government, yes, about different political system. Oh, now we are in bondage, we are free. No, I'm not speaking about this. I'm speaking about internal bondage. It's a constant limitation regarding fullness. A person in bondage does not feel full. So you feel all the time that something is missing. Yes, it's not full. And for this reason, he's all the time wandering around in this world in search of elusive happiness. Elusive happiness. Liberation from bondage means the return of fullness. So it's not related to be free from government or to be, you understand? No, it's not. You can be even in the middle of a terrible country with a horrible political system and you can be free. Because it's internal freedom. You can be in prison and you can be free. It's internal freedom. It's not about freedom of the body. No, it's not about it. It's about fullness, to feel completely satisfied with yourself. Don't feeling all the time that you need something or someone. This is fullness. The 64 Tantra Trikashaivism is based on appear at the beginning of Satya Yuga, near 4 million years ago. But Trika as a whole appeared thanks to the strenuous work of eminent Abhinavagupta. So it's a long story with the 64 tantras that Shiva produced for this humankind, non-dualistic tantras. He created other 18 Rudra tantras for a mixture of non-dualism and dualism. Dualism is when you think that God is different from you. Non-dualism is when you think that God is one with you. And mixture is when you think that God is one with you, but at the same time is separated from you. It's a long story which Shiva produced in the 64 tantras. Next, Durvasas, around 5,000 years ago, Durvasas compiled, the sage Durvasas compiled all these 92 tantras, 64 Bhairava tantras, non-dualistic, 18 Rudra tantras, dualistic and non-dualistic, and 10 Shiva tantras, dualistic. So the Shaivism of the south of India, Shaiva Siddhanta, grabbed the 28 Rudra tantras and Shiva tantras, yes, 18 plus 10. And they consider these 28 tantras like sacred, to be sacred to them. But Trikashaivism in the north of India grab only 64 non-dualistic Bhairava tantras and not the rest of tantras. Okay, next, Durvasas compiled all the 92 tantras, dualistic, mixture, and non-dualistic, and created a mental sun, different mental sun, and this mental sun were in charge of these tantras. We descend from Triambakanatha. Triambakanatha is the first mental sun created by the mind of sage Durvasas. And this Triambakanatha is the father of all of us, yes. Next, through the different lineages of Parampara, yes, in Sanskrit, we arrive at Abhinavagupta. In Middle Ages, Abhinavagupta, the greatest Trika master of all time, Trikashaivism master, he compiled, he joined the four schools of Spanda, of Kula, of Krama, and of Pratyabhigya into one philosophical system called Trika. So Trika is born with the work of this great sage of Trikashaivism, Abhinavagupta, the greatest Trika master of all time. Some of you wants to be greater than him? I'm asking you. Maybe you want. You will have to work hard. You want to be greater than him. Okay. So Trika, as we know today, this philosophical system has more or less 1,000 years old. It's more or less around 1,000 years old. They say that the greatest work by Abhinavagupta, Tantraloka, where he joined these four schools of Spanda, Pratyabhigya, Krama, and Kula. This scripture he wrote in near 6,000 stanzas. Yes, he did it through many years. He started when he was very young, but he finished it when he was older already. So it's not that he wrote the whole scripture in one sitting. Yes, no, it's a long scripture. He stimulated all the time to write this scripture, to join the four schools into one Trika by his Kula master, Kula Guru Shambhunatha. I'm translating Tantraloka on the website. It's a very long scriptures. I finished in the website chapter 7, but I'm in the works. I have the chapter 8. I will publish sooner than later. The chapter 8 is massive. It's 452 stanzas. So, my God. For you to have an idea, the Bhagavad Gita has 700 stanzas. So to have a chapter in Tantraloka with 450 stanzas is massive. Massive chapter. Okay. With reference to the structure of the book, now I will briefly explain its contents by means of a synthetic analysis. Stanzas 1st to 12th. It's a short poetry where I call Trikashaivism the temple of truth. You will see later when we read the stanzas. The temple of truth. In the process, I mentioned some important points of this philosophical system, its main exponents, the sages, the main sages of Trikashaivism, and a little history about Trikashaivism through 12 stanzas. The next 25, the next stanzas are about the 25 main tenets of Trikashaivism. So in 27 stanzas, 25 stanzas, I compile all the main teachings of Trikashaivism. In the stanza 26 and 27, I express my devotion to Shiva. And in the last stanza, is the conclusion of the book, yes, in the stanza 28. Okay. First stanza. About Trikashaivism, main points of Trikashaivism. Parabhairava, the supreme Bhairava, Shiva, we call Parabhairava, the supreme Bhairava. Bhairava comes from a word called Bhiru. Bhiru is a person with fear, frightened person, yes, Bhiru. From Bhiru, through the addition of Tadita affixes, secondary affixes, we arrive at the word Bhairava. Bhairava. Bhairava means the opposite, not a person with fear, but a person creating terror, terrifying. Yes? Fearful. Tremendous. So this God creates fear in all the beings. A direct contact with Parabhairava creates fear. No doubt about it. Do you have any doubt about this? A direct contact with this power of God is. But there is an explanation of this name Bhairava through acrostic. So through acrostic is adding, adding a word to every syllable of the syllable of the word. So Bhairava comes from Bhararn, because Bhairava maintains the universe. Bhairava, Bhararn, to maintenance, to maintain the universe, working all the time. Ra, because of Ravarna, because dissolves the universe. And Bhairava, because of Vamana, because he projects the universe, he manifests the universe. So because he maintains the universe, dissolves the universe, and projects or creates the universe, he's called Bhairava. But this is an acrostic explanation of the name Bhairava. In Sanskrit, these acrostic explanations are very usual. But if you go to the dictionary, it's terrifying. We can go now, I will show you. Now the dictionary tells me another meaning. Let me check. Can be because my memory is not very good sometimes. Okay, let me see. We have Bhairava. Terrible, frightful, horrible, formidable, miserable. Look at this. No, it's not miserable. Fear, terror, You see? Terrible, frightful, terrifying. These are the literal meaning of Bhairava from Bhiru. Okay. So Parabhairava is oneself. There are no two Shivas, two Parabhairavas. There is only one God. There are not multiple selves. No, we don't believe in that. There are theories about multiple selves. For example, the theory about Mukta Shiva and Anadi Shiva. You know the theory? I explained to you in the past. Some theories, some philosophy, they say that there is a Shiva that is Anadi, beginningless. No beginning for this Shiva. And this Shiva is all the time liberated. He never attained liberation. He's liberated from the beginning. But there are other Shivas who attain liberation. So they are Mukta Shivas. And they're different. Mukta Shivas are different from Anadi Shiva because Shiva is eternally, Anadi Shiva is eternally liberated, while Mukta Shivas are liberated only when after attaining liberation. Well, this theory is rejected by Trikashaivism. They say there is only one Shiva. Before liberation, one Shiva, and after liberation, one Shiva, one Parabhairava. This little point apparently is nothing, yes, but I put it in the first place because most people cannot understand it. So they say, God is different from me? No. There is only one self, you, nobody else. You can tell me my problems come from the government? No. Come from my family? No. Come from the mayor of my city? No. Come from my wife, my husband? No. It's internal. It's because you don't feel full, because you don't realize that you are Shiva, you are God. This is your problem. All your problems are rooted there. And I will show you little by little. Maitreka Guru said past tense because now he left the body. Swami Lakshmanaju, he left the body in 1991, 31 years ago. And he said that the Guru is the one who put God in front of you. So now I'm putting God in front of you because I'm doing my job, yes, like a guru. God is you. It's not a guy living in the frontier of the universe there or in the past or no. It's you. It's this conscience. Your only problem is that you don't feel full. That's why you have all the other problems you have. Apparently because you need someone, no. Because you need something, no. Maybe you need a new smartphone, no. Maybe you need a beautiful woman, no. You need a young body, no. I need a young body now. I'm sick all the time. No, it's not about that. It's about that you are not full. You don't feel Shiva. You don't feel God. That's why you suffer. That's why you're in bondage. This little thing apparently is very unimportant, yes, but most people are in bondage because they all the time blaming someone else, yes, for their misery. No, it's only about this lack of fullness. And this lack of fullness is not a sin like in religion, yes, like, oh my God, you are a sinner, you are a bad person. No, it's not about this. It's only a play by Shiva. He playfully jokes with himself. Yes, like this. Okay. Oh, you are confused. You are not full. Yes, so you don't realize that you are Shiva. Okay, this confusion, this lack of fullness, nothing else. But it's not a sin. It's not something bad and you are a sinner. Oh my God, I'm not fooled. No. Forget about sins in Trikashaivism. This is not Christianity, no, nothing. We don't, this Trikashaivism is born from joy, from bliss, from the joy of Shiva, not from suffering, pain, no. No, forget it. For me, it was very shocking at the beginning when I started with Trikashaivism. I was in yoga for 39 years. Next year, I will celebrate my 40th anniversary in yoga. But with the Kashaivism, I was since 1989, so around 33 years is with the Kashaivism. The other 6 years, I was studying Vedanta and Sankhya and other systems. I started with Trikashaivism full in 33 years ago. The first thing that was shocking to me was that it's based on joy. Because obviously I came from a Christian family, Christian Catholic family. So it was very, very strange, this viewpoint, yes, coming from joy. All the time in Christianity coming from Jesus Christ, all the time suffering and sinners, we are sinners from the beginning. So it was very, very hard to understand all this viewpoint. It was difficult to understand. And but it's the viewpoint of Trikashaivism. It's not the viewpoint of the religions, for example, all the time we suffer. No, no, nothing. So forget about this. You are not a sinner. You are not a bad person from the start. No, 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 no. They say that you are a person making mistakes only. They speak about mistakes, confusion, but not about sin. This is extremely important to understand. That's why when we do rituals, for example, in Trikashaivism, when we hold yagyas or rituals, uh, when we offer something to the fire, yes, we offer little branches, for example, incense, we offer salt, clarified butter, yes, ghee, we offer there, but we don't offer with the feeling that all my bad actions are being burned by fire now. No, I'm offering my negativities to the fire. In the past, this was a controversy because some people, when we started with the jazz in Argentina, in Rosario, in my city, in the 80s, we started in 1983 around, yes. My acharya had a hard time teaching people that no, they cannot throw to the fire negativities or bad action. No, the fire is Shiva and it's bliss, it's happiness. So you offer to the fire the best of you. Know your crap. You don't offer to the fire your crap. It's the best of you offer to the fire. Perfumes, ghee, little branches, incense, something good. Yes? Not something bad. It's different viewpoint. This is in the first stanza. In the second stanza, the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth stanza, I explained that Paramashiva is composed of Shiva and Shakti, and Shiva is also called Prakasha, omnipresent light, and Shakti is also called Vimarsha, awareness of that light. This is I am. So Paramashiva or Parabhairava is composed of Shiva and Shakti, of I am, Aham in Sanskrit. I am, I exist, I am. This foundational consciousness is I am in everybody. You don't have to think about it. Yes, it's natural in you. I exist. I exist. I am. Despite the separate description, there is no difference between Shiva and Shakti. Shiva and Shakti are technical names to designate the same reality. I am. So, in Trikashaivism, we say like this, present tense. We say like this, that First, when someone comes and he asks me for some technique, yes, I will tell him no technique. You are Shiva. Be conscious. You are conscious that you are Shiva. So you have to experience this consciousness that you are Shiva, that you are God in you, appearing in you. So if the disciples tells me, I cannot, sorry. So I had to tell him, okay, concentrate, focus your attention, concentrate your attention on I am in you. At the roots of all your thoughts, I am. Don't concentrate on I am someone. No, I am. So the disciple has to meditate like this. If he cannot even do this, he will come to me and I will tell me, oh, Guruji, I cannot with I am. I cannot meditate. I cannot concentrate on I am. So I will tell him, okay, you can chant, you can repeat a mantra, and blah, 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 blah. All the other techniques you know, yes? Mantra, chanting, to do this technique about meditating like this, like that. All these techniques are the last resource if you cannot meditate directly in your Shivahood, in your state of God, or in I am. So in Trikashaivism's particularity that we start all the time with the superior reality. And next we move down. We don't start like this. For example, Peter comes to me yesterday. So, oh, he's a poor guy. He's a beginner. Oh my God, no, I cannot give him some advanced technique because he cannot understand. No, 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 no. We cannot start like this. We start like, he's Shiva. So he can develop this state of Shiva at will in him. We start like this. He cannot, we move to I am. If he cannot, at the end, we move to repeat a mantra, meditate with a mantra, chant mantras, etc., and techniques that are very usual in yoga. Yes, at the end. At the beginning, we say to the disciple, you are Shiva. Meditate on this reality in you, nothing else. If the disciple cannot, we move to I am, and if even cannot even this, okay, we move to the normal techniques you know about yoga. Yes, concentration on mantras. We use Om Namah Shivaya and Guru Om, two mantras. Om Namah Shivaya is a long mantra. Some people can have some problems to repeat this long mantra because in general we synchronize the mantra with the breathing. So Om Namah Shivaya, obviously, with your mind, yes, not with your mouth. You do with your mouth will be. Some people do this in the past. I had to tell them, no, please, with the mind. They try to do it. No, no. It's Om Namah Shivaya when you inhale, breathing in, and Om Namah Shivaya when you breathe out. Some people find it very long, so I give them the mantra Guru Om. Guru Om. It's coming from my tradition. I didn't invent this mantra. It's coming from my tradition, from my Guru. He passed me these mantras to me, and I pass these mantras to you. But this is at the end. You cannot with I am, and you cannot with Shivahood directly. Do you understand? So we don't treat beginners like beginners. We think, we are convinced that everybody is Shiva, and everybody can to attain fast the state of Shiva. So if someone from the beginning can attain fast the state of Shiva, he doesn't need I am, concentrate on I am, and he doesn't need mantras. You understand? You take a shortcut faster. This is not my invention. This teaching comes from Abhinavagupta, the greatest Trika master. In the sixth stanza, I explain that not only Paramashiva, Parabhairava is free, but also Nara, the limited individual, yes, the person, every person is free too. But what's the difference? That he cannot understand that he's free. So when you understand your freedom, when you realize your freedom, when you experience your freedom in you, this Shivahood in you, you realize that you were all the time free. because there is no two Shivas, two Parabhairava. There is only one. What is this? For example, if you are not free now, and you will be free in the future after liberation, so you have to explain in philosophy. It's complicated to explain this, because if you say, I'm not free now, I will be free only after getting liberation, after attaining liberation. So there will be two Shivas. One Shiva before in bondage, and another Shiva, you, free. So we'll have two Shivas. You understand? No, there is only one Shiva. Shiva is all the time liberated. So when you get liberation, you realize that you were all the time liberated. This is very difficult to understand with the mind. So try not to understand with your mind, because it's not mental. It's not mental. It's not the kingdom of mind. In the stanzas 7 and 8, I explained that Nara experiences bondage because of internal mala or impurity, which arises from Parabhairava. Therefore, it's Parabhairava himself who becomes Nara. So this Parabhairava, he's very frisky. He likes to play a lot. It's like this, yes. Because my family is Christian, yes. So imagine all my life with Christianity, and all of a sudden I received this news that God created the universe like a play. What is this? It's strange. Not suffering, no, like a play from joy. And he made a mistake, as it were. He made a mistake because it's a mistake joking. It's a mistake that he made joking with himself. And this mistake is called, for example, Gabriel. So he's confused. Yes, he created Gabriel, and he started to think that he's Gabriel. It's a mistake. It's a mala. It's an impurity. But not impurity because it's moralistic impurity. No, it's because it's some lack of unity with himself. There is some dualism in him appearing all of a sudden. Lack of unity. That's why it's called impurity. Impurity and purity in Trikashaivism is not related to nothing moralistic, to anything moralistic. You understand? Nothing. Nothing at all. It's about purity, union, impurity, lack of union. When you are not one with Shiva, when you feel that you are a person limited, that you are, I'm 58, for example, my age, I'm Gabriel, I'm Argentinian. This is a play of Shiva in me, yes? Making me feel that I'm a person. This is some impurity in me, lack of unity with him. But it's a play coming from joy. It's nothing terrible like, oh my God, like in another system. Yes, Maya, the villain. Yes, the bad woman catches you. Yes, and look at you. Yes, now you are in bondage. No, it's not about this. It's Shiva playing to be a person. Is Shiva frisky is saying, oh, now I will joke with myself. I will become Gabriel, and I will enjoy this universe with this personality. In liberation, you realize that you are not Gabriel anymore. You are not Gabriel, you are not Peter, you are not Robert, you are not Raman, you are not Natalia, you are not Liena, you are not Tamas, you are not Mate, you are not Irina, you are not Ivan. You are God. This is liberation. But it's a little movement inside. It's like it's one instant. Everybody can have liberation at any moment. You don't need to wait for a million years to get liberation. You can get liberation very fast if you are intelligent enough. Okay. In Aphorism 9, I explained that the luminous Lord is the possessor of 5 powers. The 5 powers of Chit Shakti, Shakti's power, Chit Shakti, the power of consciousness, Ananda Shakti, the power of bliss, Icha Shakti, the power of will. Jnana Shakti, the power of knowledge. And Kriya Shakti, the power of action. Aphorism 10. When Nara, or limited individual, realizes that he's Parabhairava, Mala is eliminated. Because this Mala is nothing. It's only a conviction that Paramashiva has, Parabhairava has, that he's a person. So when Nara, or limited individual, realizes that he's Parabhairava, Mala, this impurity, is eliminated. Where is Mala going to? To nowhere. Because Mala is nothing. In other system, Mala is like a network, yes, like a net on you. Not network, net, like a net on you. So after liberation, you remove this net from you, yes, like this. But in Trikashyavism, there is no net. No, it's only an impurity. An impurity is a confusion in Parabhairava. He thought that he was a person. And now he realizes that he's God again. So where is this confusion going? Where is this confusion going to? Nowhere. It's only internal confusion. So we don't have to explain where the net is going to. Yes, where is going to the net. In other systems, they have to explain where the net is going to. When you remove the net from you, ignorance, where is the net? Where? It's difficult to explain this in philosophy. It's not so simple. You can say anything, but you have to prove it. So in Trikashyavism, this Mala is nothing. It's only a false conviction that you are a person. Or you could say that when Mala is eliminated, Nara, the person, realizes that he's Parabhairava. The same. In stanza 11, I said that Nara manifests the universe like a garland or a rosary for japa around his neck. So this Parabhairava in the form of Nara, Nara is, when you look for Nara in the dictionary, you receive the meaning man, Nara, man, yes, and human being, something like this. And so this person, this human being, manifests the universe because he's Parabhairava, confused. Like a garland or rosary for japa, yes, for repetition. You know japa, yes, this is a rosary. It's a rosary for repetition. So you have this rosary, this mala for repeating the mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. So manifest the universe like a garland on his neck, or a rosary on his neck. Stanza 12. This universe arises from Shakti, that is from the joy of Parabhairava, and not from sorrow. This is very important. Stanza 13. Understanding that the mind is inherently Shakti is encouraged. Here we don't fight the mind. This is not, there is no control of mind here, no mental control. We don't want to control mind. Yes, we don't meditate like this, for example. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, and the mind comes. Yes, blah, 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 the mind chit chat, chit chat. Oh, I want to control the mind again. No, no, we don't meditate like this. We meditate like this. Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya, Shivaya. The mind comes. We wait. Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya, Shivaya. We don't fight the mind. The mind comes, start to move. Okay, next we return to the mantra. We don't feel guilty for anything. It's the mind. It's Shakti. It's a manifestation of God. Shakti is the power of God. It's a manifestation. We don't fight the mind like trying all the time to stop the mind by force. Yes, no, this is impossible because this is like trying to catch the wind or something like this. Impossible. or try to step on your own shadow, the shadow of your head. It's impossible. When you try to step into the shadow of your head, yes, the shadow of your head will move with you, so it's useless. So we try only to realize that you are God directly, or to concentrate on I am, or to concentrate on mantra, but we never enter into direct conflict with the mind. That's why when people come to me, I cannot meditate, my mind is all the time pestering me. No, it's because you are fighting the mind. Let the mind do whatever the mind wants to do. When you remember, continue to repeat the mantra again, or continue to do the technique you are practicing for meditate. So it's encouraged to understand the mind. When you understand that the mind is Shakti, is the power of God, and you cannot control the power of God, so you have advanced to your state of Shivahood very fast. I will explain this later. It's a complex topic about upayas, or the means to attain liberation. In the stanzas 14 and 15, I say, as a king needs a proper seat, so the mind cannot sit on objects, figuratively speaking. The mind becomes permanently joyful by only merging into Parabhairava. This is liberation. It doesn't matter what you buy, what you have, what you get. Mind is not completely satisfied with that. It's impossible. Try it and you will see. I want the latest smartphone. Okay, buy it. I buy it. And you are satisfied. Yes, for some time. Next, you forget. I want the latest supercar. You buy it. Okay, you are satisfied. You have a supercar. My God, wow, 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 supercar. Next, you forget again. I want the most beautiful woman. Okay, you get her. It's difficult to get. Next, you are satisfied for some time. Next, you are fed up again and you want something else. So the mind cannot rest on objects, on people. No, it's impossible. Forever, no. There is a story about a king going to a cave to visit his guru. In the past, the king has gurus living in caves, in India. So he visited his guru, but his guru was absent at that time. He only met the disciple of his guru, another disciple. So the disciple told the king, "You can wait for our guru is here." So obviously it's a cave. They are ascetic as people. So what is the seat? It's a rock. So told the king, "Sit here, please, on a rock." So the king sat there, sat down there. All of a sudden stood up again and continued to walk and walk and walk. So the guru came, yes, all of a sudden, and greet the king, and next asked the disciple, the other disciple, "What happened with the king? He's walking all the time. You didn't offer him a seat?" So the disciple said to the guru, "Yes, I offered him this rock." So the guru told the disciple, "No, he's a king. He used to be sitting all the time on cushions, very soft cushions, on thrones. You had to offer something softer. Please grab some grass, put some blanket on the grass." And so the disciple prepared a very soft cushion with grass for the king. So the disciple told the king, "Now please sit." So the king said like this, "Oh, at last." Yes. Well, because he was a king. He needed a cushion for a king. In the same way, the mind cannot sit on objects, on people. He has to sit finally on Paramashiva. It's the only source of eternal satisfaction for the mind. You often the mind all the time, but sit, so you will suffer. In stanza 16, I wrote, when there are vikalpas, mental fluctuations, there is bondage. When there are no vikalpas, there is liberation. This is the ideal state. But this doesn't mean that you have to fight vikalpas. Vikalpas, thoughts, yes, fluctuation of your mind. No, you have to tolerate vikalpas in you, to let them play in you. But yes, when there are vikalpas, when there are fluctuation in you, when there is fluctuation in your mind, there is bondage. When there is no vikalpas, at the end of your spiritual path, there is liberation. Because your state, like God, is without vikalpa. Shiva has no thoughts. He is before mind. Shiva doesn't breathe. He lives without breathing. It's strange. To live, you breathe. This is Nara, the person. But Shiva doesn't breathe. He doesn't have organs like lungs, stomach. No. He exists without breathing. This is real life. That's why there are states of meditation where your breath completely stops. And you feel that you will die, but you don't die. You continue to live. And it's magical, you feel. This is magical. I don't breathe and I continue to live. Yes, because you are in him. His life. Full life. In aphorism 17 and 18, I explained some topic about void. Yes, that is very common topic. Parabhairava is not at all a void by consciousness in absolute freedom. He looks like a void to the undeserving ones only. So when you don't deserve to realize that you are Parabhairava, you think that Parabhairava is a void. But he's not a void. He's the witness of the void. There is no absolute void. You know that in Buddhism they say that there is an absolute void, but that's impossible. Because you know that there is a void, so the void is not absolute, because you exist in the void. This is stupid teaching, but most people cannot understand this. Imagine you open a door and you say, there is nobody here. Yes, you open a door to a room and you say, there is nobody here. Yes, there is nobody except you. In the same way, if someone says that Parabhairava is a void, how did he know that? Because someone was watching the void. Who was someone? He's Parabhairava. So Parabhairava is not a void. Parabhairava is the witness of the void. So with this, we deny, we don't agree with Buddhists. We don't agree with Sankhya Yoga philosophers, even with Vedantic philosophers, that the highest reality is a void. No, the highest reality is light, not a void. But not light like you see in the sun. No, it's formless light. It's prakasha. It's vimarsha, awareness of this light. That's why when you get liberation, you see nothing, but you see everything. Okay, to understand this, you need the actual experience. In stanza 19, I says, Trika Shaivism has its roots in the 64 Bhairava Tantras, along with Shiva Sutras. The rest of the scriptures are just an expansion of it. So Trikashaivism has its root in the 64 Bhairava Tantras. For example, our sacred Malini Vijayotara Tantra, the greatest Tantra according to Abhinavagupta, the greatest Bhairava Tantra. Our sacred Swachanda Tantra, I will translate in the future. Swachanda Tantra, huge Tantra. Rudrayamala Tantra, for example. These are the main tantras we follow in Trikashaivism. Netra Tantra, also called Mrityunjit, conqueror of death. Next, aphorism 20. Trikashaivism affirms that liberation is here and now, and not after reaching some word of Shiva. No, liberation can be gotten here and now, and not after death. You know, many philosophical systems in India postulate that after dying you can get liberation. You will travel to another world, to the heaven of Shiva there, or the heaven of Vishnu, or whatever God you worship. Yes, like in Christianity, the same. Yes, after dying, you will go to heaven there, to the paradise with God. No, we don't believe in this. We believe that liberation is right here and right now, or never. Why? Because if God is Parabhairava, is omnipresent, if Parabhairava is everywhere, why to wait for death? Why to go somewhere if he's everywhere? Because it's Parabhairava, is in his world far from us, and you attain this world after dying. So in order to attain the Parabhairava world, you have to discard Parabhairava in the process, because all is Parabhairava. God is everywhere. So to attain God, you need to discard God in the process. So this is absurd and childish. That's why we don't believe in liberation after going to a particular place. No. It's denied by the common sense, yes. If God is everywhere, why you need to go somewhere else to attain God? Okay, for today is enough. Now following now is question and answers in private, but for satsanga today is enough. Next satsanga will continue with this short explanation of all the teachings. I will start with the scripture itself. Okay. Om Namah Shivaya.